All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Sigsum 2025. How are we doing today? Awesome. We are so excited to have you all today, and what a beautiful space to be in here in San Francisco. We have an amazing day planned with speakers from Microsoft, Conviction, Figma, Atlassian, Vercel, Linear, Base 10, and many other fantastic companies. We also, of course, have several people from a company that's been in the news lately, one of the hottest, fastest growing companies in tech. You know what I'm talking about, Statsig. All of our sessions today will be recorded and available on demand next week, so stay tuned for updates there. To get updates on our sessions today or to get in touch with any of our speakers, you can join our community Slack, which is statsig.com/community, and so you can access speakers and more materials there. And if you need any clarification on the agenda or the sessions happening today, go to statsig.com/sigsum, spelled like it's on all the screens. Yeah, and we have some amazing food and bev. Help yourself. There's snacks scattered all around the venue. It wouldn't be a Statsig event without amazing food. All right, without further ado, I am beyond excited to kick off Sigsum 2025 with a keynote from our founder and CEO, Vijaye Raji.
Hey everyone, welcome to Statsig Sigsum 2025. This is our second year running the Product Builders Conference, and last year I was here looking around. We had only about 100 people. This year, we had 1,200 registrations, and we had to say no to a lot of folks. So if you're here, consider yourselves the chosen ones. And when I look around this room, this is pretty amazing because this room represents one of the best product builder communities in the world. So thank you for spending your Thursday with us. Let's talk about why we are here. We're here because the way we build software is changing. It's changing so rapidly that we have to find a competitive edge. Today, it is easier than ever to come up with a brilliant idea, build an MVP, and take it to production. You know what I'm talking about. With AI tools, you can literally vibe code your way to production. And in this world, the ones that win aren't the ones with the biggest teams. It's not the ones with the biggest pockets. It's the ones that can move really fast. It's the ones that can take your idea all the way to your customers and users as quickly as possible, out executing competition. So speed is important. But speed alone is not sufficient. Speed without precision is not great, right? When you're building products, you're making 100 decisions, maybe 1,000 decisions. And these decisions all have to be right, at least most of them. And the only way we know how to get those decisions to be right is by using a data-driven feedback loop. And data is at the center of all of that, and it brings precision. And this is how we know what we're building is exactly what your customers and your users want. And this brings us to our mission, Statsig's mission. The entire reason Statsig exists is because of this. We want to be the one-stop data platform for all product builders. Right? No more fragmented tools that don't talk to each other. With Statsig, you get the one plane that allows you to ideate, build, ship, measure, and eventually iterate. Well, since founding Statsig, we've come a long way. You've all helped us in achieving our mission and advancing our mission. And today I'm going to share a few statistics that actually outline our growth so far. And one such statistic I'm really proud of is the number of features and experiments you all are shipping with Statsig. And that number has continued to grow and is growing exponentially, as you can see in the chart. This year alone, we have shipped over 300,000 features and experiments. When I look at this number, I'm really proud because this indicates that so many of you have chosen to use data for product development. The next statistic is even more mind-blowing. This was a recent number that I asked the team to go pull. I wanted to know, how many people are we touching? Because we have SDKs that are integrated by our customers, and those are reaching our end users. And so we went and pulled this number, and I was blown away. I was like, actually, can we recheck this number multiple times? Because we're hitting 4 billion people. Our SDKs are touching 4 billion people. And that's an incredible number. The next statistic I want to share is the scale of our infrastructure. If you were here last year, I remember standing here, I was talking about how we were so proud of hitting 1 trillion events every single day. That was last year. And that number continued to grow. As of this month, we hit 3 trillion events every single day. Our infrastructure is processing all of this in real time. And I'm not talking about the number of feature gates we're serving. That number is about 2 orders of magnitude bigger than this. I'm talking about the number of events that customers and users are sending to us, and our infrastructure is gathering it and processing it. To put this in perspective, that's 35 million events every single second. And to serve all of that with 4 nines of availability, that's just bonkers. Now, that brings us to our growth and how many customers we're serving. I'm really happy to see that we're serving a wide range of customers, all the way from scrappy startups to global enterprises. These are all the people that are betting on Statsig. Okay. Unless you've been living under a rock, you all know we've been busy this month. Earlier this month, we announced that we have signed a definitive agreement to be acquired by OpenAI. And this is a pretty exciting moment for us because it validates our mission. It also advances our mission. And I am excited, my team is excited to continue serving our customers in this new capacity alongside OpenAI. So I'm really excited about this moment. So let's bring it all back. In the world where AI tools are changing how we develop software, it is easier than ever to build software and get it to production. And in this world, speed is important. But speed alone is not sufficient. Speed with precision is what matters. And this is exactly what MA is going to talk about. MA is going to outline how Statsig is going to help you all build in this AI world with speed and precision. Please welcome MA to the stage.
Good morning, Sigsum. This is amazing to look out on this room. So my name is Margaret-Ann, and I lead the product and design teams here at Statsig. And as Vijaye said, today we're going to talk about building. So the blueprint for growth is the theme of this conference, and the reality is that this blueprint is shifting in real time in 2025. AI is transforming how we think about building products, evolving it to be easier, faster, and more frictionless than ever before. It's also changing who can build products, democratizing access to any part of product development, from ideation to design mocks to writing code and eventually shipping products. But in this world, that's actually why we believe at Statsig that validation becomes more important than ever when all these traditional product building rules are kind of being thrown out the window. We've all seen the power of using AI coding assistants to launch code or, expose prompts and models to your end users in production. But at the end of the day, models are fundamentally non-deterministic. And you need some mechanism in place to ensure that what they're creating, those user experiences they're creating, are actually good for your end users and your business. And so this is why we at Statsig feel that experimentation, both offline and online, is more important than ever before in this era of building with AI. So today I'm going to talk about a couple launches that enable you to Vijaye's point, move faster and more confidently with AI. And the first one is actually in your development workflows. So we're going to talk a little bit about how Statsig is embedding within your favorite AI coding assistant. So I'm going to start with a poll. How many people here use some form of an AI coding assistant? So Cursor, Codex, okay, this is the whole room basically. So I've looked up stats on this, and they range from 30% of developers, that felt low, to 92% of developers use some sort of a AI coding assistant. That felt high to me, but actually looking at this room, I think that might be closer to the actual stat, which is pretty crazy. So in parallel with this massive adoption of these AI coding agents, at Statsig, we've been, for years now, investing in our console API, which is a way to interact with Statsig configs, create gates, experiments, check in on dynamic configs, without ever logging into the Statsig console, so all via API. And so when Anthropic announced late last year that they were building MCP and exposing that for people to hook into, we thought, what an awesome opportunity to pair console API and enable you to access all the great Statsig stuff just within your IDE without having to jump into the console. With the MCP server, it's easy to ensure that every feature you launch is wrapped in a Statsig feature gate, ensuring that when you're launching, you can have control and precision and automatically roll back if a key metric is breached. With MCP as well, we know that flows like logging, which are traditionally the first thing to get booted. I know this well as a PM who is constantly harassing my teams. Hey, did you add logging for this? What's the event name? It's super easy to just prompt your AI coding assistant to add logging via Statsig. And without having to go back and manually instrument all your flows, it will add logging, and you'll start to see these events flow through the console. And then, because you're building with data, you can tie this in with your alerts. So you can configure top-line alerts, threshold alerts, and if those fire, you can then know that, hey, this is maybe not performing super well, we need to roll back. So let's just pause here for a sec. We've now coded a feature in your IDE with AI. You've launched it behind a feature gate. You've logged everything. You've launched it, ensured nothing regresses. You're done, right? That's it. Well, there's actually one last thing, which is going back and cleaning up your old gate, which is usually what people forget, which is why code bases end up littered with tech debt, tons of old flags that don't receive checks. I'm seeing some nods in the audience. We're all guilty of it. So with the new MCP integration, you can actually make this super easy. You just prompt your assistant to help you clean up old stale flags. They leverage Statsig's stale gate definition and put up a PR to basically clean out all your old flags. Note that this whole workflow, this all happened from within your AI coding assistant. You didn't have to jump between the console and your workflow. This is the power of our MCP integration, and we've already seen customers create thousands of configs via the MCP integration. But we actually think this is just day one. What we're really excited about is a world where you can leverage the MCP server to hook into also like your alerts, right? And so if an alert fires because something's going wrong, your assistant can go into your code, diagnose the issue, put up a PR to fix it, and that could all happen while you're asleep, right? That's true self-healing code, and that's a future that's not actually that far out. All right, now I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about a net new workflow that we're seeing a lot of customers start doing, which is building with LLMs. Okay, question for this group. This is going to look familiar. How many people here have interacted with Statsig's StatBot? Okay, good number of hands. So follow-up question to that, how many people have been annoyed by a response that StatBot gave you? Okay, that immediately people shut up hands. We get that a lot. Jokes aside, we actually really love that we get a ton of both positive and negative feedback from users of StatBot. But behind the scenes, StatBot's actually just really powered by a giant prompt. And so when we get this feedback, what we want to do is we want to hop in and fix the issues with the prompt to perform better for one class of questions while ensuring that we're not regressing another class of questions that maybe already perform well today. This isn't actually that straightforward. So enter Statsig evals. So today, I'm super excited to be launching our AI evals product. We believe that building with LLMs is going to become just part and parcel as part of the product development process. And so evals will become a really critical tool in the product builder toolkit. Fun fact, this feature was actually originally inspired by customers and co-designed with customers. We had people that we noticed were like creatively hacking our core experiments product to run kind of offline tests of their prompt model combos before promoting it to an online experiment. And we thought this was interesting, and so we actually sat with those customers and started to co-design evals, and I'm excited to walk you through it today. So what makes our evals product unique is we're pairing a couple things. One is a control plane to create and manage multiple versions of your AI configs. The second is evals to be able to define kind of golden data sets and evaluate your prompts against these data sets in an offline capacity. And then the third is pairing that with online experimentation and looking at the impact of these variants on actual users with real-world metrics. And this is all in one platform, seamlessly integrated. Let's double-click on the control plane. So Statsig already serves billions, and Vijaye definitely alluded to this, billions of configs in a low latency performant way today. And so serving AI configs was a very natural extension of that for us. You can log front-end, back-end, serverless checks in a performant way using SDKs that your team already uses, making the jump into evals really straightforward. So today we're going to talk through a fun little example. I don't know, fun. Performance review and fun are never used in the same sentence. But we're going to pretend that we're building a performance review assistant that is essentially tasked with summarizing performance reviews and grading them for accuracy, fairness, and calibration to the levels. And so in this world, using our evals tool, what you would do is you would set up your prompt, choose a model. We are integrated with all the major models, and then tweak parameters like temperature. You can version your config, so you can have multiple versions of prompt model combos. And so if something goes wrong with your rollout, you can seamlessly roll back to a previous version. And checking this in code, checking your prompts in code, will look very similar to working with feature gates and experiments today. When you finally found a winning variant, you can go ahead, promote that to live with one click. And this is all just within your control plane. So let's talk about the second leg of this triangle, which is evals. So when we were looking at different evals tools in the market, what we were struck by was that they're pretty much all designed with an ML engineer or people that work with foundation models on a daily basis in mind. But we see a world in the future where anyone from me as a PM to a customer support agent are going to have their own sets of prompts, and they're going to want to tweak these. They're going to want to make sure those are performing better. And so you need to really build an accessible evals product that can work for someone who's not an ML engineer. And so with this vision in mind, we think that we've built a really accessible product, and I'm excited to walk you through the details of that now. So to start, you simply upload a golden data set. In our performance review example, this would be the inputs, which are things like the peer reviews and your accomplishments and the calibration levels, and then define the reference answer that you want to train against and grade against. You configure a judge, and you're off to the races. What's cool about our evals product is you can actually configure multiple LLM as a judge graders. So in our example, we had 3. We're grading on factual and logical alignment, calibration to performance levels, and evidence use and specificity. As each of these graders goes through and evaluates the LLM's responses, it will give you an easy-to-understand distribution of scores, and we let you click into individual results so that if you see something weird, you can actually go look at the steps that the LLM walked through to understand, okay, how did it reach the answer that I'm seeing? This makes debugging and iteration easy and seamless and is accessible to anyone, really. All right, last component, online testing. This is arguably Statsig's special sauce. So our online component of this product is going to let you run an experiment in production. It's going to look and feel very similar against real users with real-world metrics. But in parallel, you can actually run evals against those real-world inputs behind the scenes, essentially shadow testing multiple versions of your prompt model combos. You can then build scorecards where you co-locate those eval metrics with your real-world metrics, enabling you to see a complete picture of what's going on both with your users, but also behind the scenes with different variants that maybe weren't in production. So we believe that bringing together the control plane, powerful evals, and world-class experimentation is the future of building with LLMs, and we're super excited to launch this today. It's in beta. You can ask our team to get access. Swing by the Builder bar later today if you want access, or if you're not here in SF, simply ping us on Slack, and we'll open up the gate for you. So in summary, the blueprint for how we build really is shifting, but Statsig provides the platform to build, ship, measure, learn confidently, to validate that this code going out the door, that these prompts and models working in your production environments, that all of these things that you maybe don't control are actually net positive for your end users and business. So thank you so much for being here today at Sigsum. We're thrilled to host you. Have a great day. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce Sarah, who's going to join us to talk about the state of startups in AI. Sarah is the founder of Conviction,